Charging with 8 amps only. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this 38.5% state of charge is not correct here. Because it's a brand new battery, we haven't calibrated the Seplos BMS in it yet. Let's put some more current in it. Charging overcurrent warning. Okay, this is on 150 amps. The charge overcurrent protection 160. Okay, I'll leave this on 160. I'm not expecting that we reach these numbers, but just in case, well, hopefully the current limiter will kick in then and sort things out. Guys, welcome back to the off-grid garage here in sunny, and I need to show you as always. Look at this wonderful and beautiful weather. It is early afternoon, about 2 p.m. or so. We have fully charged the battery shelf already since, I don't know, for the last 3 hours or so. We had 180 amps today outside. And now I want to put some of this energy here into the EEL battery we have built in the last video, because we want to test and measure the EVE LF304 B-Grade batteries. They've got a B stamped on their QR code. This is how I have ordered them from EEL. And with further inspection, I could see actually 2 or 3 cells which had little dents. And I guess this could be a reason for these cells to be filtered out then. They're not certified A-grade batteries anymore. They're getting a B stamped on because they can't use them anymore for electric buses and trucks and whatever they build with them. So, and now they're landing up here in Andy's garage in sunny hot Australia. And while we have connected the battery in the last video to our Powerwall 2 and have charged it up a little bit, probably like, I don't know, 10-12% or so, the current is now tapering off because the solar is shaded outside, and the solar charge controller is on float mode anyway, so we are charging with 53.6 volts only. We've got shading here on the pool fence system anyway now. So today there's not much power coming from these panels anymore, but I've got still heaps of power here from the off-grid garage, DC as well as AC from the tilt system. And I want to connect this battery now to the battery shelf, which otherwise goes nowhere because the system has already throttled down. We have reached the floating mode for the last 3 hours already. So the system is just idling here, providing power to my loads, and that's it. So why not take this power and quickly recharge this battery so we can start the testing on it. And I thought about how to do this quickly and just temporarily, and I came up with an idea which involves this panel here. It's our DC load panel. And we have one 66 amp circuit breaker here, which is not being used. This is called the outlet 1, and it goes directly with some 50 mil cable and onto a 120 amp Anderson connector. It says it there, outlet 1. So even the DC load is not connected directly to our battery here, but it is connected to the main bus bar system in the top battery compartment here. So power coming from the solar going out of this outlet number 1 is not being counted for by the smart shunt. So usually you don't connect batteries to this outlet because the battery needs to be on the other side of the smart shunt. So the smart shunt actually knows the battery is getting charged or discharged. But in this case, it is more like a load for the system because I just want to charge up this battery. So it takes the energy away like an inverter would do. It takes energy, or any other load you connect to the battery, it takes the energy. So it doesn't really matter in this case, and it's just for the temporary quick charge up. These are LF304 ampere hour cells, and I'm not sure at what state of charge they are. There could be everything between 30 and 60%, I don't know. So I will disconnect the battery again, and then we connect another pair of cables and connect it to the Anderson connector. And hopefully we get some amps into this battery. So first of all, let's turn off the battery. I don't actually think this is 50 mil cable here. I think this is only 35 mil cable. But up there it's protected with a 66 amp circuit breaker, so the cable is totally fine for that. So we can connect these two together now. The circuit breaker is still off, there's no power here coming in. Quickly connected, everything is good. BMS is still turned off, but as soon as I turn on the circuit breaker now, we should see power going into this battery here. And then the BMS turns on because it gets charged. Alright, let's give this a try. Wow. Ah, here, 90 amps. Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it tapers off now, otherwise our circuit breaker will trip in a minute. Yeah, not anymore. if it goes under 60, now it's under 70 amps already, so the circuit breaker is fine. That we would get a high inrush current, but then it tapers off quickly, so it's all good. For my battery shelf, fully saturated at 55.2 volts, and this battery was at about 53 volts or something. So here we can still see 50 amps going into this battery now, charging it up quickly now, and that's what I want. So let's have a quick look here in the Off-Grid Garage VRM. Yeah, we can see 3000 watts here. We've got a load connected of 3 kilowatts at the moment. And solar in the tilt system is not enough to cope with that, so we're actually discharging the big battery now into this battery here. Okay, I would say let this running for a while until we see a bit of increase in voltage in this battery. And then we have a look here at the voltage difference, at the deviation, and also what the single cells are doing. Because when we built this battery, I didn't bother top balancing at all. I didn't even measure anything. I just put the batteries in from the box directly into the battery, connected everything, and well, here we are. So even I have torqued all the flexible bus bars down onto the battery terminals with 7 Newton meters. I have not double checked it as I would usually do. And this was a bit on purpose. I said, well, if I have missed one of the connectors over there, it will show up during charging. Even we are still in the flat area of the charge curve now, we will have one cell peaking already with a higher voltage. And this would indicate a bad connection between your bus bars and the battery terminal. And then I can always go in there and re-torque it and recheck it. This was not me being lazy, it was a bit more of a test. But obviously even at 70 to 90 amps just now, there was no cell peaking, everything was smooth. So obviously all the connections are fairly consistent. So interestingly, solar and the tilt system was not enough to charge the battery as quickly as I wanted. So I had to turn on the generator, the Phoenix inverter, and charge from the Powerwall 2.0 from all the other batteries now. You can see we are grid connected at the moment, and this gives us an additional 2.4 kilowatts. So we are charging the battery again, voltage is rising, and so is our DC power output because the voltage of the attached EEL battery is rising as well. And you can see how the amps are actually going up now, because the voltage on our bus bar is now rising. So we keep this running here, and we should see more and more power going into the EEL battery then. So I hope it goes up to 50 amps or so, but I'm not sure. Well, I just thought, while we have this battery connected here to our battery shelf, I can actually turn off all 3 of our battery banks. So all the power would go into the EEL battery. It should actually work. There's still a battery connected to the system, just not through the shunt. So the shunt will tell us there's no current going in and out anymore, but the battery still charges. Whoa. Bold move. Yes, we are charging with 50 amps now. Everything goes into the EEL battery. So looking here, yeah, it says 0 amps going into our battery shelf. All 3 batteries are turned off. And the DC load, this is what goes into our battery at the moment. 51, 52, there are some other stuff connected as well. Nice, we are now charging with 44 amps. That's cool. So I need to remember this. If I need to quickly recharge a battery, I can just connect it to the Anderson connector, and then we've got 66 amps, which is around 3.5 kilowatts or something. That should charge the battery quickly. I don't think it is going to work. We are charging with 28 amps only. It takes just forever. It just takes forever, and now the irrigation pump is also on. From what is coming from the other battery now is mainly used directly with my AC load. So only 30 amps are going into the EEL battery at the moment. I would say let's wait until tomorrow when the other battery is fully charged again in the middle of the day. And then we've got around 10 kilowatt of solar available, and we quickly charge it within an hour. All right, you have a wonderful day, night, morning, whatever time you is at the moment. We will see us again tomorrow then. 45, 47, 49, 50. We're charging with 50 amps into the EEL battery. Guys, good morning. It is now the next day. We still have the EEL battery connected to our battery shelf here. We have a 66 amp circuit breaker, so we need to be aware of that. And I need to turn on the other battery banks again soon, so they can take the excess energy then. So I can individually connect 1 or 2 or all 3 batteries depending on the power which is coming in, which is insane today again. Yeah. Welcome to springtime. We have 0 amps outside. No, actually we have got 45 amps outside. 2.5 kilowatt from the DC system, 1.5 from the tilt system, couple of loads connected, pool pump is running, crypto miner is running, but still we are pushing 2.7 kilowatt into the EEL battery. First milestone reached, we are at 55.2 volts, still charging with just under 40 amps. And we can see some of the cells have already started balancing now, which was occurring at 3.45. And we've got a deviation of 43 millivolt only. So that is pretty consistent so far, considering we haven't done any top balance or so with this battery. But we have to wait until the current tapers off a bit more. You can see the deviation is increasing slightly because we are still charging. So cells with a higher voltage are increasing the voltage faster than cells with a lower voltage. And therefore these cells will keep spreading apart. Okay, let's increase the voltage. It sits on 55.2. Let's see if we can make 55.8. Okay. So we are close to 55.5 now. 56 millivolt deviation. Increasing the voltage further. 56.25 volts. Still charging with 40 amps. And we've got a deviation of 113 millivolt now. So now we are seeing they are spreading apart. But it is still not too bad, you know. We don't have a cell over voltage alarm, high voltage alarm or anything. We are still under 3.6 volts. Most of the cells are now balancing, of course, which doesn't make sense because I haven't increased the balanced start voltage. It still sits on 3.45. But our target voltage has obviously increased now. So it doesn't make sense to balance these cells anymore, actually. But we know the Seplos BMS version 2 has got the exact same balancer as the version 3. 20 ohm resistor, passive balancing. Okay, let's keep increasing the voltage here until we see the first cell shutting down. Here cell number 6, cell number 11 is now our highest. There's the single high voltage alarm at 3.6. Okay, we may have a shutdown here at any point of time. 3.63 volts. And then we are running our system without battery connected because all the other batteries are still turned off. Voltage is constant at 56.7 here on the solar charger. Any moment we are turning off. 3.6. Well, guys, I must say this is actually not too bad. So the cells are actually matched. There we go. The cells are actually matched and pretty close together. We've got a deviation of 200 millivolt at 56.2.3 volts it was. So that's not too bad for not doing any top balancing at all. That would actually do me because if I charge to 55.2 volts only, I would never go that high. I would never see any cells going that high. And the balancer would do its work. And over time, we're talking about a long, long time, the balancer would do its job. Okay, now the MOSFETs have turned on again. We are charging at 44 amps until cell number 11 turns off again. There we go, turns off. Charge MOSFET is off. And now it's discharging this cell until 3.6 volts and then turns on the charge MOSFET again. So over time now, the other lower cells will recharge and this cell will basically constantly go into overvoltage protection until all the other cells have caught up. It's not a nice way to do it, but it will work over time. Okay, I would say I'll turn on the other batteries as well so they can catch up because we've got 12 p.m. Okay, let's turn on the first one again. Wow, 100 and... Oh, it has turned off. Maybe it was a charge overcurrent situation in this BMS. See how safe this all is if it's set up correctly. Because this one sits on 52.8 volts now. And I've got now 14.4 kilowatt of solar connected, plus another 2 kilowatt over there. And this battery is fully charged, all parallel into this one battery. Yeah, they turn off. They get so much power then. And this is exactly what the BMS should do. Let's turn on the JK as well as the overkill. All three battery banks are reconnected. We're charging with 80, 90 amps into these three banks, 35 amps into the JK, 23 amps into the Heltec BMS at the top, and 40 amps into the overkill BMS at the bottom shelf. Okay, I have now connected the battery for 2-3 hours or so, and we are still getting this cell over voltage protection, of course. So 270 millivolt deviation, and I cannot charge any higher than 54 volts anymore before I get that. Totally normal, because we haven't done any top balancing. But we will do one right now. So I have got the EEL battery here on live support. As you can see, we have connected the NEEY active balancer. That's the 15 amp smart active balancer. An amazing device. Okay, we are now balancing with 15 amps. We are balancing this battery with 15 amps. It is always incredible. Okay, charger has turned back on. We are charging the battery with 23 amps. So let's see if we still get an overvoltage protection, but I think we will. But let's see, cell number 11 is still high. 3.65, there it is again. Doesn't matter, the balancer keeps working on it. It keeps balancing. Still 270 millivolt deviation. Oh, cell number 11 is high. It is high. It is peaking all the time. Okay, folks, I would say we leave this running here for a couple of minutes and then have another look. There comes the charger again. I'm expecting it takes only 15-20 minutes maximum and the battery will be fully top balanced. I'm just having some cake and then I'll be right back. Okay, it is now 1 hour later, but only because it took me 45 minutes to eat all the cake. Everything. Okay, we are now at 57.8 volts. We are still charging with 2 amps. Deviation has come down to 26 millivolt. It's still decreasing. It's getting better and better. But it may take another 10 minutes or so. But I'm running out of time, guys. I want to do the full discharge test of the EEL do-it-yourself battery today. Want to see how good the battery cells actually are. How consistent they still are at the discharge, at the lower voltages. But we have already 5:30 and discharging takes 5 hours. It will be 10:30 again in the PM when the test is finished. So I'm starting right now. I consider this one as fully top balanced now with the NEEY down to 22 millivolt deviation at almost 58 volts. Yeah, that's good enough. I have already connected everything, the smart shunt. Okay, balancing has now stopped. We are under 5 millivolt deviation, fully top balanced. Let me reset the smart shunt test. Reset the history, yes. 0, 0, 0, 0, everything is 0. Okay, connected the EEL battery to our bus bar over here. All these batteries are off. This is all off, this is all off. Everything is turned off. XIA inverter is turned on. Tesla is plugged in. Let's get started. All right, we are fully discharging now the EEL battery. 43 amps. We go a bit higher here. 50 amps. Can I get to 12? 54, 55 amps. Okay, 12 amps. I'm not sure if the circuit breaker lasts, but we will find out. Smart shunt is discharging. 1 ampere hour is gone. We will be done in around 5 hours, so I'll see you again after 10 PM again. You have a good evening. I will calibrate the SPED now. Thank you for all your generous donations. Oh no, 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 no. Yeah, it's the XIA inverter has turned off before we actually hit any. So we are at 10% state of charge still. There is a remaining capacity alarm, but this is not what have turned off, what have terminated our test here. This is really the XIA inverter with a low voltage disconnect. Damn it! That is annoying. Okay, let me check the smart shunt here. Okay, we have consumed 273.2 ampere hours. I have just turned on the Phoenix inverter to discharge the battery even further. But I'm not sure when this one actually turns off with a low voltage disconnect. So anyway, we have consumed 14.2 kilowatt hours so far, 274 ampere hours. There's still another 30 ampere hours missing. right? Okay, so the Phoenix inverter should not shut down anymore until we hit 37.2 volts. This is obviously far too low, but before that, one of the cells will hit 2.5 volts in the battery and then the BMS turns off anyway. This is just to fully deplete the battery now. Because I cannot change any settings in the XIA inverter. It shuts down at 44 volts as well, or 43 volts. Okay, we are discharging with 56 amps again. Deviation 18 millivolt. It may take another 15-20 minutes or so until we hit 2.5 volts. None of the cells is even under 3.1. It'll be late tonight. It'll be late. Shortly after 11, we are still discharging this battery. 46 volts we are. At 63 amps we are discharging. We've got all the alarms, remaining capacity, single low voltage, total low voltage. Several cells are under 2.9 volts, I think it is. That's what the alarm is set to. We have discharged 300 ampere hours so far. 15.4 kilowatt hours. We are at 2.8 volts. Deviation is 106 millivolt only at 46 volt peak voltage. That is insane. That is very, very good. That is super low voltage. You normally don't go that low, and you only have 100 millivolt deviation across 16 cells. That is... what a fantastic quality these cells have. I'm really surprised for an EVE LF304 B-Grade battery cell with this result. Amazing. Okay, we are close, coming to an end. 2.7 volts. No, we're still discharging. No, it's all good. So we may not hit the 304 ampere hours here in the discharge, but that is fine because we want to do two single battery cell capacity tests as well. And I picked the one with the highest voltage and the one with the lowest voltage in this pack with this test now. So number 12 is our highest. Where it is? Here. That's number 12. 2.865. Here, number 11 is our lowest. Under 45 volts. 302 ampere hours. We may actually reach the 304. I don't know. Still discharging with 62 amps, 67 amps now. 2.65. 303 ampere hours we have. Almost. Ooh, 2.55 and 303.5. So we are that much away from hitting 304 ampere hours with the whole pack. That is a fantastic result. And there it turns off. There it was. 303.8 ampere hours and 15.6 kilowatt hours out of this battery. That is a fantastic result. Wow. I mean, come on, B-Grade batteries, right? With the B is stamped on the QR code. And then we hit the 304 ampere hours. We're 200 milliampere hours short. All right, guys, it is 10 past 11. I'm going to bed now. And as I said, I want to do the two capacity tests for cell number 15 and 11. I have to rewatch the video and see which ones were actually the lowest ones when the single under voltage protection kicked in. So give me another 2 days here until I have the results of these two tests, and then we have the cell with the maximum capacity and also the cell with the minimum capacity. So we've got a good overview what the spread across these 16 cells is. But so far, I'm a big fan of these EVE cells delivered by EEL Battery. All right, you have a wonderful good night. See you in a couple of days. 9, 10, 11. This is cell number 11. I have fully charged now to 3.65 volts. And we have put 84.8 ampere hours into this battery. Because when I fully charge this one again, I need to take away these 84.8 ampere hours again to get to the same level as it is right now, or as it was before we started testing. Because otherwise we are creating a super imbalance here in our pack. The whole battery is charged to around 80% state of charge. And this is exactly what is missing to 100%. So, need to keep this in mind. So, testing cell number 11 now, discharge curve. And I'm also pre-charging cell number 12 with a power supply. So when cell number 11 is ready by tomorrow morning, I can start cell number 12 during the day, and then both tests will be ready by tomorrow afternoon when I come home, and I can finalize this video so you can watch it the day after. I've also wheeled the battery over here. That's why I like batteries on wheels. It's so convenient. I've disconnected all the balance cables from the BMS, so everything is disconnected. These are the pure cells, nothing else. So it is now the next morning. The result is in of our battery test for the first cell, cell number 11. And I cannot show you the result yet. Don't want to spoil it. So I swapped the batteries over now, charge the battery number 11, and then we do a discharge test on number 12, which was our highest capacity cell. So, and I'll be back in a couple of hours with the result. Okay, I've got the second result as well for cell number 12 now. And I need to recharge both cells, as I said, minus the 85 ampere hours around. So to bring them back to the same level as they were before. But this is not your concern anymore. I'll continue the video now. I can't remember when I started testing this battery here. I think I did the full capacity test on Monday evening. Anyway guys, it is now Friday night and I'm finalizing this video finally. We've done the full capacity test now and the two single capacity tests as well, measuring the cells with the highest voltage and the lowest voltage once we discharge this whole battery. So all the other cells should be in between, right? Alright my friends, and here we have the discharge curve of cell number 11. Yeah, cells is here. So this cell was the first one to reach 2.5 volts when we fully discharged this whole battery pack. Charging to 3.65 volts, then fully discharging to 2.5 and measure the capacity and also the energy. Capacity is 307.4 amp hours. Energy 994.7, almost 1 kilowatt hour out of this one prismatic cell. So this is the weakest one. This was the one which reached 2.5 volts the first. This is the weakest cell, 307.4 amp hours. Okay, let's have a look at cell number 12, which was the one with the highest voltage. So presumably this is the one with the highest capacity in the whole pack. And this was our cell number 12. And we have discharged this cell here with 311.5 amp hours. 1005 watt hours. That is a really fantastic result. So all the other 14 cells in this pack should be somewhere in between 307 ampere hours and 311 ampere hours. So it looks like EEL has actually matched these 16 cells together. So they are in a very narrow band of capacities and energy. They are matched. Yeah, and we haven't measured any cell voltages, any internal resistance and stuff like this. So this is actually a method you can use to determine your best and your worst cell in your pack. Now, you could ask, if the worst cell in this whole pack here has 307 ampere hours, why did we see only 304 ampere hours when we discharged the whole pack? Well, and this is due to losses in bus bars and connections, right? So we lost basically the remaining energy and the capacity as well through heat loss in these connections from bus bars to terminals. And look how many connections you have in such a 16S battery pack. And even they are all well connected and torqued and everything, there's always a tiny bit of loss, even at 50 amps. And that's why a capacity test of a whole pack is never as good as your weakest single cell. It is always worse than that, due to the additional loss. But guys, quick verdict here. I'm very impressed with these B-Grade EVE LF304 ampere hour cells delivered by EEL. I'm very happy with the result and performance of these battery cells. So I will link these cells here on my website as well now as recommended battery cells, next to the QSO ones and the one you can order from EVE directly. Okay guys, these were some exhausting couple of days now doing all these capacity testing with the pack and single cells. I also upload both discharge curves of these two cells I have tested here on my website. Link is under this video here. As always, you can download the EB tester software for the CKE-Tech tester and open these files and study the curve. So you can exactly see at what voltage you had what capacity left, for example. So it's pretty cool. Alright guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your amazing support here on the channel. And until the next video when we do something completely different again, you stay charged, stay safe, and thanks again for watching. See you then. Bye bye. Here they are. The EEL EVE LF304. Amazing batteries, very good performance. Really recommend these batteries. Nice.